MashaAllah. IT technician.
Alright, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. I have good news. Today will be the last chapter that we take on this subject. Yes, for this subject matter. This is the last hadith, last bab. And we're going into different abwab, husn al-khuluq, helping your brother and things like that. Alright, so chapter number 107, Bab Hal Yaqulu Sayyidi. So this is about the chapter about should the person say Sayyidi. Alright, and the Sayyid, what is a Sayyid?
Master.
No.
Oh, leader.
It's al-Mu'azzam. Alright, الرجل الذي يعني المعظم في الناس يرجع المعظم الذي يرجع إليه الناس في أمورهم. So he's a person that's held in high esteem amongst the people, and they go back to him for all of their affairs. And this is the definition of what name of Allah? الصمد. الصمد السيد الذي بلغ غاية سؤدده ويرجع إليه الناس في جميع حوائجهم. So that is the Samad. The Samad is the Sayyid. So the Sayyid is the head of the people, the one that the people rely on, the one that the person who the people go back to for their needs. All right, and of course Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we go back to Allah for all of our needs, everything, everything goes back to Allah. And the people in the dunya, whatever we go back to them for is only from the asbab, but the ultimate thing is it all comes from Allah. All right, so is it permissible to call somebody Sayyid?
Yes.
I don't know. If he's deserving of it, and he's a person that fits the description and the definition of the word Sayyid in the Arabic language, I mean, if he's a crackhead homeless person and you say, hey, Sayyidi, that's istiskhar, you know what I'm saying? That's like, making a mockery of somebody, and that's not permissible either. But no, I mean, if he's an actual person who the people go back to, he's a person who held in high esteem amongst his people, and they go back to them, and they because maybe he's knowledgeable, maybe he's also like, like Sheikh Mubin rahimahullah when he was alive, he's the most knowledgeable person of the tribe. And the tribe, they go back to him for all of the issues that they have, because he's the one with the knowledge of the deen. So in this case, yeah, I mean, it would be permissible to call him Sayyid. Huwa Sayyidu Qawmihi. Huwa Sayyidu Qawmihi. But as far as like calling a person this name and they don't deserve it, or calling a person this name just because, like, for example, you get a person, he's from Ahlul Bayt, he's from the family of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he doesn't pray, and he doesn't fast, he doesn't give zakat of his money, and he's the most afsaq al-nas, he's the most unrighteous of people, even though he's from the Prophet's family. And this person, you don't call him Sayyid just because he's from the Prophet's family, because he's not a person that you go back to for anything. You understand? So a person that if the person fits the description, it's permissible. What about what the Sufis do nowadays? The Sufis say, Ya Sidi, Ya Sidi. Is this permissible? It is for them, but it's not permissible for us. Why? Huh? Well, seed, it means in the Arabic language, what does seed mean? Seedun. Seedun, it means dhib. And they are dhi'ab al-nas, wallahi. The Sufiya, dhi'ab, wallahi, dhi'ab ala-nas. Dhi'ab ala ajisadihin, what? Thiyabu. Yeah, they are dhi'ab, because they're predatory animals with the people's aqidah, and they destroy the people's aqidah. So it's permissible amongst them to call each other CD, yeah, dhi'bi, because they are dhi'ab. But yeah, like seed in the Arabic language, it means dhi'b, it means wolf. So that's what they're calling, hey my wolf, hey my wolf. Yeah, it's correct for them, because they are a bunch of wolves. All right. Huh? Dhi'abun ala ajsadihina ish. Thiyabu. What is that? وش هذا؟ ذئاب على أجسادهن ثياب.
They're wearing wolf skin. Like a wolf skin, like.
No, they're wolves, but they're dressed in like with clothes, like they're clothed. So they appear to the people like, oh, like, you know, civil and everything, but inside they're really a bunch of wolves. He's just getting water and leaving. Don't worry. He knows what time it is. All right, so Bab Hal Yaqulu Sayyidi. All right, so the first hadith, number 210. حدثنا حجاج بن منهال قال حدثنا حماد بن سلمة عن أيوب من؟ Huh? Come on, man, we just took this like not too long ago. Huh? السختياني أيوب السختياني وحبيب وهشام عن محمد عن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال لا يقولن أحدكم عبدي وأمتي ولا يقولن المملوك ربي وربتي وليقول فتاي وفتاتي وسيدي وسيدتي كلكم مملوك ورب الله عز وجل. This hadith is sahih. ها؟
نحن أخذناه.
إيش؟
نحن أخذناه من زمان.
ممكن أخذناه بس not in this book. Not, we didn't take this one, right? ها؟
كان نفس الشيء نفس الكلمة.
No, هو يكرر بعض الأحاديث. Bukhari. So he said, and Abi Hurairah radiallahu anhu, he said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, لا يقولن أحدكم, that nobody from amongst you should say abdi wa amati, which means my male slave or my female slave. Well, la يقولن, so they shouldn't say this. And we talked about this in the previous lesson. This is what? What's the situation? Is it permissible to say it if you're referring to a ghaib, like abduhu, amatuhu? Is that permissible? Huh? Yes. But here is, and then mainly, and even it's permissible to say these words if you're not speaking in the presence of the person that you're speaking about. Because if you're speaking in the presence of the person, it's almost like you're, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, come here, you know, you're mine. You know, it's arrogance. And it causes the person to become, you know, proud. So here, you know, the Prophet ﷺ told him, وَلْيَكُلْ فَتَايَ وَفَتَاتِي وَسَيِّدِي وَسَيِّدَتي. So they don't say Rabb. Is it permissible to refer to a human being as a Rabb? Never.
Depending.
No, that's not depending.
Depends.
That doesn't depend. There's a rule. What's the rule?
Is it like a Rabbul Bayt, that's permissible.
If it's idafa. But you can't say it like, for example, just to say it munfarid, a Rabb. هذا رب. No, but you can say رب الأرض, رب البيت, رب المنزل, المنزل. Yeah. As long as it's mudaf. Just like you say in the English language, you say what? Landlord. Landlord. He's the landlord. He's the owner of the land. Because in this case, the Rabb here, it means possessor of it. Like he's the controller of that land. It's his land. He possesses it. So as long as it's mudaf, yeah, then it's permissible. But if not, but here again, we don't say like here the Prophet ﷺ said, well, don't say Rabbi, but to say what? Sayyidi wa Sayyidati. All right. كلكم مملوك ورب الله عز وجل. He said, all of you are slaves, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord. And the Lord is Allah. All right. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is our Lord, nobody else. So, you know, we're all slaves of Allah in the end. And that's just a reminder to people to be humble, even if they're in this type of situation, where they're in possession of somebody, especially his Muslim brother, that he remains humble and understands that all of us are servants of Allah. All of us are slaves of Allah. All right, hadith number 211. حدثنا مسدد قال حدثنا بشر ابن المفضل قال حدثنا أبو مسلمة عن أبي نصر عن مطرف إيش؟ النظرة جزاك الله خير. That's صحيح. عن أبي نظرة عن مطرف. That's why you have to have a book with the chains of narration in it. Yeah, but you're not reading properly. See, I made a mistake and my son corrected me, huh? And you're still looking for the hadith.
No, I found it.
All right. عن أبي نضرة عن مطرف قال أبي رضي الله عنه أبوه أبو مطرف is Abdullah ibn Shakhir. Abdullah ibn Shakhir. Shakhir. All right. انطلقت في وفد بني عامر إلى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقالوا أنت سيدنا قال أسيد الله قال وأفضلنا فضلا وعظمنا طولا قال فقال كلوا بقولكم ولا يستجرينكم الشيطان. Alright, so here the Abdullah ibn Shakhir, he reported radiallahu anhu, that he went out with the waft of Bani Amr. A waft is what? It's a delegation. It's a delegation. So a tribe will send like a waft, a delegation that they're going to speak on behalf of that tribe to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he was a part of this delegation that went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he went to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, Anta Sayyiduna. He said, you are Anta Sayyiduna. Now, are they speaking the truth here or no?
No.
Yes, of course. Because again, it's permissible to say a Sayyid. And the Prophet ﷺ said that about himself. He said, Ana Sayyid ibn Walid Adam, la fakhr. He said that I'm the Sayyid of the Walid Adam. Like out of all the children of Adam, he said, I'm the Sayyid of them. So, yeah, wala fakhr. With no what? With no boasting or bragging. He said, without boasting or bragging. But here the Prophet ﷺ said, As-Sayyidu Allah. And what does he mean by this?
But the ultimate Sayyid is Allah.
Yeah, because he's the one that we really go back to in all our needs. You might go to a person, but the thing is, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wrote it for you, you get it. If he didn't write it for you, you don't get it. So yeah, but the one that we go back to ultimately is, and this is what he's referring to, not saying that it's not permissible to say it for a person, especially the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He's the one that deserves it more than any other of the human beings of creation. So yeah, قالوا وأفضلنا فضلا, and he said, and you are the best of us, what, from his bounties, like fadla, like, you know, out of all the good, all the good that comes, you know, from you, you know, like not all the good comes from you, but you know, he's a doer of good, you know. And he helps the people out in the system and whenever they're in need. وَعَظَمَنَا طَوْلًا. طَوْلًا, it means what? Huh? What? What's shan? No. طَوْلًا, it means سَعَةً وَغِنًا. سَعَةً وَغِنًا. Yeah, alright, so like, because the Prophet ﷺ obviously, Qawlan, and he's ghani an nas. Not ghani in the fact that he had a bunch of money, but he put his trust completely in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so he is ghani an nas. But sa'atan, that means whatever he has with him, what? He gives it to the people. He doesn't keep it for himself. قَالَ فَقَالَ كُولُوا بِقَوْلِكُمْ. Say your statement. وَلَا يَسْتَجْرِيَنَّكُمُ الشَّيْطَانِ. What does that mean? Like, don't allow shaitan to push you to like, you know, say your statement, whatever is truthful. But don't allow shaitan to cause you to do what? To go to like, you know, start to exaggerate and go to extreme in praise and to start to say about a person that which is not in him. What does it say in the translation? No, not say that shaitan what? Yeah. Move you. That's so unclear though, ain't it? Say what you want to say, but don't let Satan move you.
Move houses, move cars, move what, move, you know, move
Yeah,
phones.
but I mean, it's basically, you know, not to be excessive in praise. You know, say the truth about a person, but don't be excessive, and don't allow Shaitan to open that and, you know, push you towards that being excessive in praise for a person. And this is what we see a lot. I mean, Allah musta'an. I mean, there are people who did a lot of khair, but then you look at like, you know, like right now, like the other day, I started reading Adab al-Bayan, and I was reading the Muqaddimah of Atiyah Muhammad Salim, rahimahullah. And then like the first, I don't know how many the pages, the first 2-3 pages, I think he's just praising the Shaykh. It's like, dude, come on, man. I mean, everybody knows the Shaykh. Everybody knows him. You don't need to sit here for 3 pages praising him, like just going on and on and on and on and on. It's too excessive. It's too excessive. You know, if anybody was deserving of that, would be who? But he would never allow the people to do that for. So don't do it for other people. Okay, it's enough that we know. If you say that this person, he died on the Sunnah, You know, that he died and he called to the sunnah and he was a person of tawheed, he was a person of thabat. What more praise can you give a person in this dunya? Seriously, all this other stuff is just excessive, excessive, excessive. So we have to be very careful about how we,
Yeah. Sorry.
That was
I know, sorry.
that was a big one.
Sorry.
Yeah, but
What was
not to be excessive in the praise of Allah. Speak the truth about a person. Let the people know the haqq of that person. But not to be excessive, inshallah. What questions?
Brother Ali, I don't know his last name, says, is it permissible if one does affiliate marketing to sell a product with someone who does haram? For example, you want to distribute a protein supplement, but the affiliate is a bodybuilder or an MMA fighter. Example, you give them a code, John 15, where they get 20% off of the profit from the sale, and the customer gets 15% off.
No, we'll have to look at that, man.
Yeah, that's all the questions.
That's it. Slow night.
There's only 9 people.
Yeah, because we missed the last 2 nights, so they probably thought like, oh no, here we go again. Yeah, because Allah musta'an. Oh, yeah. I need you to look up a hadith before we go to Bulugh al-Maram. No, because I'm going to need it, so I'll look it up. Because we had a question from somebody in the community, and I said I would answer it on here, but then we got caught up with so much stuff today, and I forgot to go back and get the hadith. Alright, so this hadith is in Sahih al-Bukhari. It's reported on the authority of Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiallahu anhuma, in which he said, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا يزني الزاني حين يزني وهو مؤمن ولا يسرق السارق حين يسرق وهو مؤمن. Alright, so this hadith is in Bukhari, when the Prophet صلى الله عليه وسلم said, he said, لا يزني الزاني حين يزني, that a fornicator does not fornicate at the time that he's fornicating, وهو مؤمن, and he's a believer. ولا يسرق السارق, and the thief does not steal, حين يسرق, at the time that he's stealing, وهو مؤمن, and he's a believer. Alright, and of course Abu Hurairah, he has another narration of this hadith where he added, this is the narration of Muttafaqun alayh from Abu Hurairah right here, where he added to this hadith, لا يزني الزاني حين يزني وهو مؤمن ولا يشرب الخمر حين يشرب وهو مؤمن ولا يسرق حين يسرق وهو مؤمن ولا ينتهب نحبة يرفع الناس إليه بها أبصارهم حين ينتهبها وهو مؤمن. So that last part is the kalam of Abu Hurairah. So here, let's just deal with the first part. Let's deal with this one. This narration is in Bukhari and Muslim and Abu Hurairah. So the Prophet ﷺ said that a fornicator does not fornicate at the time that he's fornicating, and he's a believer. And a person who's drinking khamr is not drinking khamr at the time he drinks khamr, and he's a believer. وَلَا يَسْرِقُ حِينَ يَسْرِقُ, and a person does not steal when he's stealing, he's at the time that he's stealing, and he's a believer. Alright, what does that hadith mean? Does that mean that he becomes a kafir at the time that he does these actions? He's not a believer when he's doing these actions, so that means he's a kafir, right? According to Daniel's friends, yes. The companions of Daniel's, yes, he would be a kafir because he's coming with the kaba'ir. And since his friends are khawarij, then yes. But what does it mean? Does he leave Islam at that time? So what happens to him?
ما زال مسلم بس مش مؤمن.
ايش؟
ما زال مسلم بس مش مؤمن.
هو مؤمن
الإيمان المطلق.
هو مؤمن ناقص الإيمان. Yeah, he's a mu'min, but he's deficient in his iman. So ليس حين يسرق حين وهو مؤمن كامل الإيمان. Because at the time that he's doing these major sins, then he's what? His iman is going down. So there's no way that you can fall into these types of major sins and be a mu'min with complete iman. So this does not mean that the person leaves Islam. This means that the person, that his iman, it what? It goes down, it drops. So he's a mu'min, but he's a mu'min naqas al-iman, like deficient in his iman. He's not a mu'min, but what? Kamal iman. Alright, so again, this is mutlaq al-iman and not al-mu'min, what? Al-iman al-mutlaq. What does the two mean? Mutlaq al-iman, it means that he gets the title of being a believer for what he came with the very basics of iman. But he's not that high level of, true mu'min. But al-iman al-mutlaq means what?
Everything, the whole iman.
Yeah, that means that he's done everything that he has to do as a mu'min. He stays away from these major sins. He stays away from the minor stuff, like being mustamir, like musir. Like he doesn't continually do even the minor sins, and he's carrying out the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and refraining from his prohibitions. So that's the meaning of the hadith. So the person, when he commits these major sins, he's not a mu'min kamil al-iman. Alright, but he's still a Muslim. And he still has the title of mu'min, but what? At the very, very lowest level of it, Any more questions? They all just come all at once sometimes. Now we go to Bulugh al-Maram.
Yes.
Watch.
No, like it actually just exited out. That's why.
Oh,
No, but the recent one's from Hamid. I seen it.
you sure?
Reasons unknown. Hamid says, Ustad, regarding marriage, have you discussed about marrying the young and Bulugh al-Maram?
Marrying what?
The young.
The young.
Just the young.
We spoke about it in the hadith. Specifically, let me see.
But Hamid
And the
says,
problem is, if I give him the number, it's not going to matter because we all got different books, right?
oh, you're gonna like this.
Go ahead.
Coming up. How about this bad? I remember one time you said people, they have this bad so much they sweep the whole floor. Hamid says, Ustad, what you think using one main explanation of one main explanation of one book, for example, Kitab al-Tawheed. An explanation of Shaykh al-Uthaymeen bits. But you add the explanation of other scholars, of the scholar.
I mean, you should always just take one explanation, but you should take an explanation of a person who's going to deal with the issues that need to be dealt with in totality. Not just the issues of the Tawheed, but also the issues of the mistakes that the Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab made in his narrations of the Hadith. And Shaykh al-Uthaymeen, rahimahullah, doesn't do that. So he'll go and he'll explain the Hadith, and he doesn't really get into correcting the narrations and letting you know that this narration is da'if. And so, I mean, if you're going to get a book, make sure that you get a book that has all of those. And keep in mind that also Shaykh al-Uthaymeen, his sharh was not written. It was a lesson, it was a class. They took the class and then they put it in the book form. It's better for books that are like this that you get a book that's written for that purpose. The person sits down and writes it out, and that's more beneficial. So, I mean, I would much prefer Fath al-Majid, Taysir al-Aziz al-Hamid, Qurat al-Uyun al-Muwahidin, and Sheikh Abdul Hamid al-Hajuri, has a Sharh Kitab al-Tawheed, but the majority of people probably won't have the patience to read it. But he covers everything that needs to be covered in that book, but it's about like that big, like 700 something pages. So, out of all the shuruh of Kitab al-Tawheed I read, Sheikh Abdul Hamid's is probably the most complete. Like everything's in it, everything. Because even Fath al-Majid, you have to get a good tahqiq of Fath al-Majid, because again, it's the grandson of Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, and he also brings ahadith that are not authentic. So, you have to have a good tahqiq of that. So you have to have a person who sits down and breaks down the hadith that aren't sahih. Otherwise you sit there and, if you get a sheikh, like for example, like Sheikh Salih Fawzan, Hafidhullah, was teaching a book, and he's not breaking that, he's not mentioning that this hadith is da'if, then what do the people assume? It's sahih, khalas, and that's it. And that's not the case. So, with those types of things, you need the specific people for that.
Hamid also says, when we do the believer's handbook, can you explain the different babs of sarf and their meaning?
You're talking about the different meters.
I think like next time we do the believer's handbook, can you explain the different abwab of
No,
sarf?
he's talking about when we get into sarf. When we go into that chapter on sarf. The meanings, you're talking about the meters, the scales, or what are you talking about? I think that's what he's talking about. Allah knows best. That's in Shad al-Urf. If anybody that wants to go back and look at that, they can look at it. And that's the only book that I know of that brought the meanings like that in Shad al-Urf. في فن الصرف. Or Shad al-Arf, عفوا, في فن الصرف. ماشي العرف. العرف. Because it's a fragrance. Alright, huh? Just don't say the name, just ask the question out here. A person
No,
said,
because you always say, because you went off the other day on me on WhatsApp. You said, I want you to always mention the name. Remember, you sent me that voice message.
for the other people, yeah. For the people that are our concern, not the people that are your concern.
I mean, I don't know who's concerned or who's not. Because I would just go and you went off
Ask
on
the
me.
question, man. Go on. Time is ticking.
I heard of one who said, Ibn al-Qayyim or Ibn Kathir said about the hadith about having your garments below your ankles is referring to the izar and not pants, and they mentioned a difference of opinion. Is this a valid opinion among the ulama that has evidence?
I've never seen anybody say there's a difference of opinion. I've never seen that. I don't remember ever seeing that. So I don't know.
Ibn Hazm was upon that opinion. It's jais. If I remember correctly, Ibn Hazm was upon that
Nah,
opinion.
but the person here mentioned Ibn al-Qayyim.
Oh.
And I read Zad al-Ma'ad, almost like, 1.5 times. Like the second time I read half of it, more than half of it. So, and I don't remember him mentioning. I mean, he could have, but I don't remember. The hadith are too, like it's referring to the lower garment. It doesn't matter. The lower garment. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, "Ma asfala min al-ka'bayna fahuwa fi an-nar." And that's general. He didn't say anything about but there are other narrations where he said min al-izar. But that's because that's what their lower garment was. They didn't wear pants. They didn't wear pants. They're Arabs. They wore the izar. That's what they wore. That was their lower garment. So it doesn't matter. Anybody that comes up and says there's ikhtilaf in that issue, I don't know of any ikhtilaf for that.
They try to use, these people who say it's jaiz, they try to use like a hadith of regarding Abu Bakr.
No, but his was falling off because if he was losing, he was hungry and he couldn't tighten it. He couldn't tighten it tight enough. That's like, for example, if you walked out one day and you accidentally grabbed the wrong belt, right? And if you pulled your pants up, your pants will be above your ankle. But you grabbed the wrong belt and the loops, the last loop on it is your pants are still loose and they keep falling down, and you keep pulling them up and they're falling down and you keep pulling them up. So somebody comes up and they see you at the time where they're falling down and you're like, man, it's my pants. Yeah, that person will not be held accountable, inshallah, because he didn't do that on purpose. He didn't like go out of his house with the purpose of like what? Putting on pants and drag the ground, So that's not a hujjah. It's not a hujjah. Omar ibn Khattab when he got stabbed. A young boy came to him and he had his garment trailing on the ground, and he said, "Irfa izarak." When he's dying, and this was the thing that he told him. He told him to raise up his garment. And we have so many. If you go to the daily hadith, I put so many different hadith about this issue. Khalas, I mean, anybody that has ikhtilaf for this, then khalas, they're just like, well, ikhtilaf for what? I mean, what's the benefit of you trailing your clothes on the ground in the first place? I mean, seriously, what's the benefit? You remember back in the days, right, when we used to wear these baggy pants? What did they look like after you bought them? And maybe 6 weeks later after you bought them, what did they look like? The back of the pants all torn up, they're dirty. What's the benefit, akhi? You know, at least you raise your pants up above your ankles, and at least you're protecting your clothing. You're protecting your clothing from any of the najas on the ground. You're protecting your clothing from the filth and dirt and whatever's on the ground. Akhi, come on, man. These people are so scared. Like, you know what's so funny? Is that they'll come in here and they'll be so scared that if something, falls in the bathroom, oh my God, that might be najis. But he'll go walk around with his pants dragging on the ground all around Fresno and come in the masjid and pray and not even be concerned about where his pants have been. But he's so scared that, oh no, the bathroom, like some like this sink, it might be najis and this might be najis, and they're so scared about this, but yeah, he drags his pants all around cat poop and dog poop and cat pee and dog pee, and then comes in the masjid and does not even care. Please, man, these people will lie there just looking for anything just to, perpetuate their foolishness. Ya akhi, obedience to Allah. That's what obedience to Allah and His Messenger.
Let's leave this bad for the women. Same questioner says, should inshallah be said after or before the statement? Should, saying inshallah, should you say it before or after you finish saying something?
Who cares? Say it before, say it after. Inshallah, I'm going to go tomorrow. Inshallah, it doesn't matter.
Striving Slave says, how to advise a parent who misses Fajr and Jumu'ah consistently and says that Allah will forgive things regarding His rights.
Allah will forgive things regarding what?
His rights.
What rights? Well, if he transgresses against the rights of Allah, Allah will just forgive him.
I don't know where
that person, shaitan's deceived him. Take the hadith and show them. Missing, like the person that doesn't pray Fajr, that's a sign of a hypocrite. And the person who misses 3 Jumu'ahs in a row, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts a seal on his heart. He doesn't have an excuse for missing them. It's not a joke. It's not a joke. Show him the evidence. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala huwa ghafoor. And He also has Adab shadid. So he's forgiving for the people that who try to be in His obedience, but they fall short and they fall into sins, but they keep trying to. But His punishment is for those arrogant people that want to be deceived by shaitan, to think that they can just sit there and disobey Allah, do whatever they want to do, and not fulfill, Allah will forgive me His rights. What type of statement is that? Well, that's a statement of a person that does not want to go to Jannah. That's a statement of a person that does not fear Allah, and is not even concerned about anything from the time of his death until afterwards. That's crazy, wallahi. You got to fear Allah making statements like that. Remember the guy that made the statement to his brother. He said, "Inna Allah la yaghfiru lak." And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, "Man dha alladhi من ذا الذي آل علي أن لا أغفر لفلان فقد غفرت له وأحبطت عملك." So imagine this is just because the guy made one statement, he said Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will never forgive you. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to him, He said, who is this that's going to sit there and swear? Because he said, Wallahi, inna Allah la yaghfiru lak. So he even swore by Allah. He said, من ذا الذي آل علي أن لا أغفر لفلان. Who's the one that's going to swear in Allah's name that He's not going to forgive this person? He said, I've forgiven him and I've wiped out all of your actions.
What does ala alayya mean?
Ala means halaf.
Oh, ala. Because Allah said in Surah Al-Hijr, نبئ عبادي أنا الغفور الرحيم وأن عذابي هو العذاب الأليم. questioner in the Muslimin in the Library says, do you know, no, do you, if anyone published al-arba'un with the asanid?
I don't. I mean, Ibn Rajab, he brought the chains of narrations for. I mean, I know. If I'm not mistaken, when Sheikh Yahya was teaching it, he was also bringing the chains of narrations. I don't know if he did it for all of them. I didn't listen to all of the lessons, but the ones that I did listen to, he was doing it with Sheikh Imam Ibn Rajab. He did it in his book. What's the name of it? Oh my God, man. جامع العلوم والحكم. I almost forgot the name of his book, man. SubhanAllah. Too much going on these days. But he did it. But as far as actually printing it out as a metin with the chains of narrations, no, I haven't seen it. I wish somebody would do it. But then the problem is they're going to have to do it. They're going to have to go and get the right chains of narration with the right wordings of the hadith. Because, again, you got to, those wordings of the hadith that Imam Nawawi brought, you have to bring the chain of narration with that wording. And that wording is not always where he said it is.
Sorry.
Next.
Hamid said you could do it yourself.
Hmm?
Hamid said you could do it yourself.
Yeah. Who? Me or him?
You.
Oh, the guy asking the question.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so ambiguous. Because saying you could do it yourself sounds insulting.
No, I'm saying the person himself can do it himself. He doesn't have to wait for somebody to print it out. That's what he's saying. You can go through the books, get the narrations, write the chains of narrations in a notebook, and memorize it yourself. Yeah. You don't have to wait around. I mean, if you're waiting around for stuff to be printed in a book, man, you might die. You're not going to get half of what you need. So, khalas, man. Do it yourself.
Oh, that's it.
All right, so Bulugh al-Maram, inshallah.
Wait, there's one more. It just came up right now if you want to answer it or not. Striving Slave says, can you expand on that point you made in Kitab al-Tawheed lecture where the teacher told Algerian students to read Kitab al-Tawheed if they didn't make hijrah? Talking about Salih al-Shaykh. Take a look.
I mean, expand on it. I'm saying what he said. There's nothing to expand on. That's what he said. They had finished the completion of studying Kitab al-Tawheed. They called the Sheikh. They asked him, what should they study next? And he said, did you guys still in France? And they said, yes. They said, go back and study Kitab al-Tawheed again because you didn't understand it. Because if you understood it, you'd be doing everything to try to, get out of the lands of the kuffar right now. You won't be trying to sit here and keep studying books and being comfortable in the Galad al-Kuffar. Did he already call the Adhan or no?
I don't think it's time. It's not time.
Yeah, it is.
No, it's not.
What time is the Adhan?
54. It's 49 right now. Now it's 50, but...
All right. All right. قال الحافظ ابن حجر رحمه الله تعالى in بلوغ المرام. So we're on Hadith Safe number 1052. So we're going to read these hadiths so we can finish this up and then we'll finish with this bab, inshallah.
You said 1052?
Alright, and Abi Hurairah رضي الله عنه قال ما عاب رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم طعاما قط كان إذا اشتهى شيئا أكله وإن كرهه تركه متفق عليه. So this is on the authority of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. He said, Ma aaba. Aaba means what? Aaba ya'ibu aiban.
So to call it the faults.
Yeah, to criticize something. Aaba means to point out something that's wrong with something. Like if the food has too much salt, too much oil, whatever, or too little meat. Sometimes they give you a bunch of potatoes and not enough meat.
Chipotle.
So, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he didn't do this with food. Qat, that means what?
Absolutely.
Absolutely never, ever. Kana idha ishtaha shay'an. If he desired something, akalahu. If he desired the food, he ate it. When karihahu, tarakahu. And if he disliked it, he would leave it. And this came, we see this with the dhab. when Khalid bin Walid and other Sahaba, they were eating a bub. And what happened? They looked at the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and they said, "Haram hu?" قال إنه لا ليس بحرام ولكن لم يكن من قوت قومي. Or, you know, so he said it wasn't from the food of my people. Because they noticed that while they were eating, that the Prophet ﷺ wasn't eating anything from the lizard. Like the bub is that big lizard that's out in the desert, in the mountains. I don't know what they call that thing in English. Huh? Yeah, they still eat it till today in Saudi. So, they love that thing. Whenever they go out to the desert, they have to eat that. So, yeah, that's the bub. So well, they were eating it, but he didn't eat it. He ate around it. And that's why they started to think that, what is it, haram? Like, why aren't you eating it? He said, no, it wasn't. He said, but it's not from the food of my people. So he said, well, in another narration, he said, فَأَجِدْ نَفْسِي أَنَا عَافَهُ. I see myself that I dislike it. But that's because they asked him. But you see, if you notice what happened was that during the whole time that he was eating, he would just avoid it. He wouldn't eat from it. But because they asked him, he mentioned it. So that also shows, because the Prophet ﷺ did mention, he said, well, ajid nafsi what? A'afahu. You know, so it shows that this nahi here of speaking bad about food, that the Prophet ﷺ never did it, that is what? Makruh. It's not haram. And in some cases, you know, you might have to do it if somebody serves something that is not permissible. If he serves a type of food, it's not permissible. You have to speak up about it, right? So in this case, you have to point out the aib of the food and say, Akhi, what is this? You know, this food, and whatever. I don't know. What would be a food that people might serve that's not permissible?
That's not permissible.
I mean, not pork, because pork is just...
Even
I mean, if you go to a Muslim house and he serves you ham, I mean, come on, dude. That's just like... Come on, that's just... I've never seen that before.
Or beer battered food? Like that has enough alcohol to make you drunk?
Nothing that's cooked in alcohol is going to make you drunk. All the alcohol evaporates. But it's not permissible for him to use alcohol. But I'm just saying, the actual food itself, the alcohol evaporates. So, this beer is only, what is it, like 5-6% alcohol, 7% if it's really strong. 7% alcohol, and then you're putting on heat. And the alcohol is going to evaporate with the heat.
Whiskey ice cream?
Yeah, maybe it's something, I don't know. But yeah, for example, no. Okay, that's a good example. Maybe because this happened with a teacher in you know the guy, right? The Iraqi guy, I told you the story, right? In Yemen, where his one of his students went to Germany. And then on his way back from Germany, he said, oh, I'm going to buy my teacher a gift. So he went and got him a box of chocolates. He didn't know, he didn't look at the box, he just bought them back to him and gave them to the teacher, the Iraqi teacher. Everything's written in German, he doesn't speak German, so what's he going to do? He's not going to know. So this was on an exam day, and he's just popping them. This guy has never drunk alcohol before in his life. So he doesn't know that all the chocolates have been injected with alcohol. He didn't know. Man, he's already crazy, sober. Like, he's crazy. This dude is crazy. Like, just his demeanor and how he acts is just really crazy. Like, he attracts all the attention everywhere he goes. Now, he just ate about 20 chocolates with alcohol in them. Oh, my God. That was the craziest. But if this is the case, like, for example, let's say that somebody serves chocolate. They don't know. And you look at this and say, yeah, you know that this got alcohol in it. It's not permissible. So in that case, you speak up. In this case, it's wajib for you to speak up. Because otherwise, other people, what? They're going to eat from this. They're going to eat from it. And then, the next thing you know, everybody's getting alcohol in their system because you what? You stay quiet because you're too shy. No, that's not. This is talking about like that. Like, for example, let's say that you go to somebody's house and maybe the food has too much salt in it. You keep your mouth shut, akhi. You want to eat it, don't eat it, don't eat it. Khalas. If he says, why aren't you eating? I say, oh man, I'm full, man. I'm really, really full. But you don't have to speak bad about the food, and even to your wife. Like you see some brothers, akhi, wallahi, they will start World War III in their house because their wife didn't put enough salt in the food, or put too much salt in the food, or accidentally burnt the food. She's a human being.
Oh, I've seen it.
And she's a human being, akhi. So I mean, it's just simple. You're not gonna, if your wife is cooking good food the majority of your time on this earth, then be happy and be thankful to Allah. She burns it every once in a while. So what? I mean, everybody. What restaurant do you go to that's not going to mess up your food at least once? But boy, they'll get almost to the point of divorcing her, man. Subhanallah.
Oh yeah, they'll say haram wa talaq. And you know, I was with that.
Yeah, it's stupid. Just you don't like it, don't eat it. Go get a sandwich. Khalas, man. Subhanallah. It's easy, man. I mean, I can. Wallahi, the number of times that my wife messed up the food, I can't even. I can't count. But I never complained about it. Never. Just ate it. Said, mashallah, that was good. Jazakumullah khair. If you go and destroy her nafs, you yell at her, she's gonna have like PTSD every time she goes in the kitchen, man. But if you just say something good to her, like, no, that's good, and if you really want to give, maybe next time don't use so much salt. She already knows.
Even that.
The women, they already know. They're just hoping that maybe he won't notice, You just, so Allah musta'an. Just, as far as you want to eat it, eat it. You don't want to eat it, khalas. Leave it. All right, especially amongst the people, especially when you're a guest in somebody's house. And, I couldn't imagine a worse scenario of you. Wait, who's going to call the Adhan? I cannot imagine a worse scenario of you than you being a guest in somebody's house and complaining about the food in front of everybody. That's the biggest ayib. And, I would not, don't be surprised if nobody ever invites you to their house after that. Subhanallah. I cannot imagine a worst case scenario. You go and you eat the food and you don't like it, so just go home and keep your mouth shut. But don't speak bad about the food, no matter what the situation. All right. Well, unless it's like I said, it's something haram. All right. One Jabir radiallahu anhu, anna Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Sorry.
He's scaring people, man. قال لا تأكلوا بالشمال فإن الشيطان يأكل بالشمال. رواه مسلم. So here in Jabir radiallahu anhu, he said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, don't eat with your left hand. فإن الشيطان يأكل بالشمال, because the shaitan, he eats with his left hand. رواه Muslim. All right, is that included what, eating and drinking or no? What about the people? Oh, I love this one. They eat with their right hand, and then they put the Pepsi in their left hand, and they do this, and they think that they're drinking with their right hand, because they don't want to touch the Pepsi with their right hand, because they say, oh, my hand's dirty, so they do this.
Get a napkin right over.
Or lick your fingers like the Prophet ﷺ commanded you to do. It's very simple, You're eating, you want to drink the Pepsi, lick your fingers, lick the rice off your fingers, and drink the Pepsi. Follow the sunnah. So easy. But people, they don't want to follow the sunnah, and they try to find a way to do, they end up pushing themselves right into something that's haram. All right. So it's not permissible. Eating and drinking with the left hand is not permissible. On Abi Qatadah radiallahu anhu, أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال إذا شرب أحدكم فلا يتنفس في الإناء متفق عليه ولأبي داود عن ابن عباس نحوه وزاد أو ينفخ فيه وصححه الترمذي. Alright, so this hadith, Abu Qatada radiallahu anhu, he said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, if one of you drinks, فلا يتنفس في الإناء, then he should not take a breath while he's drinking. So if he's drinking and you need to breathe, you go like this. So you're drinking breath by breath, but you don't sit there and gulp the water like a camel. All right, because what you're doing is you're breathing back into the vessel, and you're putting back what? Wasakh, like filth and things like, even the air that you're breathing out is the air that's breathing out, the poisons and stuff like that, and you're breathing that into like the vessel. And then the spit and everything that goes back into the water. And all you have to do is just look at a person who drinks like that all the time, and then watch like when the bottle sits down for like maybe a day or so, pick it up and smell it right there and see how bad it smells because of all that the spit and everything and how it's no. So the person wants to drink, huh? What's that?
Standing up.
That's a whole nother issue, man. That's a whole nother issue. We'd have to go. That's a whole class by itself.
We did go over this.
Huh?
We went last time. We spoke about it for a pretty long time. Last time.
Yeah, because it's a big issue. And you got to go through all the different hadith regarding that issue. But if you want to, like I said, if you want to drink like that and you just drink in breaths, breathe outside, Or like one of the guys, one of the Sahaba, he said, you know, inni la urwa illa, I forgot the wording of the hadith. I have to bring it tomorrow. But he said, I don't quench my thirst except by gulping the water. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, Ba'id famak anil fam saqa, like remove your mouth. If you're gonna drink like gulping it, then don't keep your mouth on the bottle. Like drink like that, and then pour as much as you want in because you're breathing outside of the bottle. But if you're gonna drink with your mouth on the bottle, then what? Then do it in breaths. You know, you drink a little, breathe, drink a little, breathe, like that. All right, and that hadith is muttafaqun alayh. Huh?
الشيء اللي هو زي هذا الدبع يعني ما تتنفس فيه بالفم.
ايش هو؟
الشيء اللي هو زي هذا الدبع يعني ما تتنفس فيه بالفم.
بأنفك.
يعني ما تتنفس فيه.
No, تتنفس من فمك. Because when you're gulping, you know, every time that you gulp, you breathe out, and then you gulp, and then you breathe out. So you're breathing in the تتنفس في الإناء. بس من فمك مش من أنفك. Yeah.
Starving Slave says, is red wine vinegar halal?
Red wine vinegar?
Mm-hmm.
It's made out of alcohol.
What about soy sauce? Soy sauce.
Get the Indonesian soy sauce. I think the Indonesian soy sauce, it doesn't have alcohol in it.
Oh, Abdul Malik is on the chat. I forgot to tell you because I think you were reading a hadith when I said it.
Soy sauce has alcohol in it?
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Really, really small amount though. So
is it still okay to drink it since you don't get intoxicated or
I mean, you can't. Yeah, I mean, you could cook with it because by the time that you cook with it,
mayonnaise. Mayonnaise.
I mean, it's, yeah. But the issue though is buying it, so that's another thing. But I think there's some soy sauces that you have to go online and find it, the ones that don't have alcohol. But I think, if I'm not mistaken, the Indonesian one doesn't have alcohol. But the Indonesian one is not the type of soy sauce people like.
Abdul Malik says, Hamza, get some lemon after you eat, chase your meal with lemon. And then he said, in and out is eating you back.
In and out is turning you in and out.
No.
What you need to do is get some Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Start drinking that. Well, first you need to get the Bragg's apple cider vinegar with the lemon. Yeah, you drink that like 30 minutes before you eat. For about 10 days straight.
Abdul Malik is answering Fatima's question. He said, Fatima says, is halal food supposed to be AI high just because it's halal, or is this wrong for them to do?
What is AI high? What?
I don't know. And then Abdul Malik said, yes, it's wrong to have halal food so high.
Are you allowed to have halal food while you're high?
No, it says, is halal food supposed to be AI high?
What is AI high?
I don't know, artificial intelligence. I don't know.
Go ask your mother. What is AI high? Please.
Striving slave.
You can go out the back if you want to take the shortcut. Because I don't think, if anybody's back there, it's your family, I think. So.
These mahramin. Striving slave says, unless you're talking about me and Al-Bara. Oh no, Abu Bara. We're in the women's section. Striving slave says, can you do a book on the methodology, minhaj, of the Salaf?
What manhaj of what?
The Salaf.
Of what?
Read Sahih Bukhari.
Huh?
So just read Sahih Bukhari.
No, I'm saying the manhaj of the Salaf of what?
Like just do a book on it.
Of the manhaj, what type of what? Manhaj of what? The manhaj of what? Naql al-Rijal, the manhaj of Rawayat al-Hadith, the manhaj of what? Because the people here in America, I don't know, like they don't think they understand what the word manhaj means. The nahj, and manhaj is a tariq that you take. The tariq for ish. You know, if you're talking about the aqidah of the Salaf, that's what the word. Stop using this word manhaj to mean aqidah. The aqidah of the Salaf, we're doing that. We're doing the sharia. Khalas. I mean, there's no, what better book do you want? There's nothing I could write that could ever match a book like that. So I could never dream of matching, even like getting a book that's 10% of that book, you know. And if I did ever write a book that was 10% of that book, I took the 10% out of that book. So what?
What was the book?
Sharia.
Oh, Sharia.
Yeah.
I was reading. Sister Amina says, that's a typo. The AI high, she's so high.
I said, so the AI is not high, she's the high one. All right, so yeah, you
These are the
shouldn't.
words of Sister Amina, not mine.
You shouldn't be getting high eating halal food. If you're getting high while you're eating halal food, then it's not halal food. Told y'all to watch out for those brownies, man. People don't want to listen, Ibrahim. They don't want to listen. So when you see those hippies handing out brownies, don't think that they are what you think they are.
Muhammad al-Alamin says, if one becomes a Muslim before they're accountable, are they considered a convert? Where's Abdul Malik when you need him?
Well, you said a convert.
I know.
What's the problem with that?
Are they considered a convert?
Yeah, what's the problem with that?
I think this is the
He
term.
didn't say revert. He said convert.
No, like, would they, like, I think the vocabulary.
No, he has a problem with the people saying revert.
No, I know.
Yeah, convert's fine. Because he converted to Islam. Yeah, he's a convert. I know a brother, a brother is from Germany. He became Muslim, I think, when he was like 8 years old. Still a convert, close. He wasn't raised on Islam. He was raised on Christianity. And his mother became a Muslim, and he became Muslim, close. What's the AI high? I don't think she knows. All right.
I don't think anyone knows.
Oh, yep.
Abdul Malik says, she mean they price the food 10 times the price. The bigger the families or poorer the families can't afford zalita.
Well, it's because of what they do. You gotta understand. I worked in a slaughterhouse when I lived in Atlanta, Georgia. And it takes a lot longer to slaughter. You can't slaughter as quickly doing things that are halal than the way that the kuffar, what they do is if they gotta slaughter like 60 sheep in a day, they're just gonna pull it out, electric shot in the head, cut the head off, send it down, cut the head off, send it down. So they're knocking out these sheep, 60 sheep, they're gonna knock that out in a few hours. So they'll double or triple the amount that we can do by hand. But like with us, when we're doing like the halal, we have to what? We have to slaughter it. The thing has to bleed out. Then once it bleeds out and it's dead and it stops kicking, then we hang it up, then we send it down, then we bring out the next sheep. You know, you see how long it takes and how much we can actually get done in a day. And that's the reason why it's expensive, because the amount of work that goes into it is a lot. It's very time consuming, especially when you're slaughtering cows. One cow alone, one huge cow, you got to go in there. For one, it's dangerous because you got to stick your hand in the cage, stick it through his throat, pull it out, and get your hand back before he might slam over to the cage and completely break your arm in half. Then on top of that, then he falls down. Boom! You know, you're talking about probably, I don't know how much these cows weigh. Got to be hundreds and hundreds of pounds. And then he falls down. Then he falls over. And then he starts kicking. And if you're standing by that gate when he kicks, you're going to lose a kneecap. Your kneecap is going to be in China. It's not going to be made in China. It's going to be in China. You know, because they start kicking and kicking and kicking. And you have to wait. You can't, because you can't bring in another cow until this one is completely dead. All right? So then what? It's going to take probably like, I would say a good 5 to 10 minutes that you feel safe. Like, okay, he's done. Because he might stop kicking. And you're like, okay, khalas, it's done. Open up the gate. And then he's got that one last kick in him. Boom, and he kicks you. You're in the hospital, see? So you have to wait. You have to wait till he's done kicking completely. Then you have to chain him up and hang him, because we have to do it on a machine. Because obviously cows, you're not going to be doing it like that. So it's a machine, and it goes up very slow. How many cows are you going to kill in a day? 10. Because we killed the sheep first, and then we slaughter the sheep, and then we slaughter the cows. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, that's why the meat is so expensive. It's more expensive than regular beef because of the process. You just can't do enough in a day. You know, so I mean, if you're doing like six to 10 cows a day, all right, how many people is that going to feed the Muslim population of Fresno that just happens to just really love meat? You know, so think about it. So yeah, it's just the supply and demand type thing, right? So you have more people that want it, and you're not producing it enough. So what's going to happen is the price is going to be higher. Whereas like what they do, because I've seen what what the kuffar do, they just pop the thing in the head with an electric gun, string it up, cut his head off, yalla, and that's what they eat. Akhi. It's a dead animal, man. It's like there's no difference from that cow than like a deer that got hit by a car, like roadkill. So almost time.
Fatima said, she said, bruh, I don't get high. She said, bruh, I don't get high.
Well, then you need to start explaining what AI high means. AI high, halal food. I don't know what that is. So
Question about a hadith. It says, is it authentic or not?
just read the hadith. If I know, I know. If I don't, I don't.
I think, وَلْيَأْخُذْ بِيَمِينِهِ. Well, the question is, it says, is the following hadith authentic? وَلْيَأْخُذْ بِيَمِينِهِ وَلْيُعْطِي بِيَمِينِهِ فإن الشيطان يأكل بشماله ويشرب بشماله ويعطي بشماله ويأخذ بشماله.
I mean, regardless, the hadith is going. I don't know the specific hadith that's being narrated, but there's shawahid for all of that. So, if that is the actual hadith, there's going to be shawahid for like the Prophet ﷺ used to give and take with his right hand, and then he commanded the people to eat and drink with their right hand. So I mean, at the very least, the hadith is hasan al-ghayrihi at the very least. It's a shawahid for all of that. So I'd have to look up the actual hadith itself with all of that together in one hadith. So you asked your mother, what does AI high mean? And she said, I don't know.
No, she didn't say she didn't know. She just didn't respond.
Oh, okay.
She's either going to go off on me, she's going to go off on you, or both of us.
I'm not going downstairs until everybody leaves. Any other questions? Because he's busy looking for something.
Water. No. Actually, yes. Same question. It says, does it show a prohibition to take and give with the left hand? Regarding that hadith.
Is it prohibited? Like,
Yeah, she said the prices are too high.
No,
What's
no,
that?
no, that's a different question.
no, that was the AI high means.
She said that the prices are too high.
Oh, that's what she meant. Was the AI high? Is the prices are too high? Not the artificial intelligence is getting high. All right.
Yeah, GPT.
Allah alam. I don't think Allah knows best. It's, I'm pretty sure that there's going to be a difference of opinion, but the stronger opinion, it seems that it's going to be about it for karahiyah. It's makruh. The person is not atham if he gives and takes with his left hand. Allah knows best.
That's all the questions.
That's it. We pray.
Yalla, it's time. This will be a record.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Akhi, Hussein, stop.
Yeah, before we send you to AI high.